We are Writers HQ. I'm Sarah.
I'm Jo.
We are reading 100 books in 2017. It's now the end of February. We should be up to 60.
Yes.
I am up to 12. I'm behind.
I'm not. I'm up to 60.
Lucky you. Yeah, so I've got some catching up to do. And yes, so one thing we noticed this month is that we are both super Kindle girls, and we haven't been reading many paper books, which really doesn't matter. The whole digital versus paper debate I find really tedious and pointless. However, bullshit. However, the one thing that did occur to me is my kids never see me reading a paper book, and I think that's important because I could be doing anything on a screen. Mm-hmm. Mostly Facebook. So yeah, in March I am going to try to read more paper books, although the downside of that is it means leaving my house, going to a bookshop.
Isn't it?
Anyway, so there we go. That's digital versus paper in a nutshell.
Yeah. But then, I get those 99p emails with Kindle things, and I'm like, oh, that looks good. And then I keep downloading samples and not actually reading anything because I'm reading the sort of first 3,000 words of lots of different things and not committing.
I do wonder if people read finished books less because then they don't have the paper thing in their hands.
So. Although I have a stack of books by my bed with bookmarks in paper books that are half finished. So
I can't do that. I've got to finish a book. I can't just read half and start something else.
See, that was another discussion I was going to...
Yeah. Anyway. Tangent.
Sorry.
Your books.
Okay, right, my books. So, stuff I've read the last month. The Underground Railroad by Colson, Whitehead, which I listened on audiobook. Yes, it counts.
Not reading.
It's on, I think, radio or something. It's on the BBC iPlayer-y thing for another month. Really, really good. And, oh, shit, what's his name? Guy from The Wire. Lovely, lovely, sonorous voice reading to you. And it's a great book. It's, I don't want to say like Cormac McCarthy-ish, but it is that really sparse and slightly detached voice, but because the subject matter is really, really devastating and horrific, but very emotional, you kind of need that, I think. Yeah, highly recommended. Another one which we're not going to go on a tangent on, we've both read, have slightly different takes on it, is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, which had a lot of good things about it, also had a lot of issues with it. Which, are we going to go into it? We're not going to go into it. We ended up talking for 10 minutes last time.
The basic premise is the end of the world. Everybody dies of bird flu, apart from like 1% of the population. And
there's a roaming band of troubadours who perform Shakespeare and travel round.
The thing I loved about it is that it was this really positive vision of the future of humanity. Yeah. It was like, you know what, it's the end of the world, everybody's dead, but there's still culture, there's still art, we're still fundamentally nice to each other, apart from occasionally shooting people in the head.
Well, that was... I'll just overlook that. But that was the premise, and it's one of those things that I think it would have worked really, really well as a short story.
What?
And possibly not a novel. But that's the premise, and it kept coming back. It's like, what is humanity without art? And they used a Star Trek quote to great effect, contrasted with Shakespeare. But I think quick went off on too many tangents about the world before, about people that I didn't really care about. So
I quite liked the idea that you knew they were going to die, but you were forced to care about them anyway.
Yeah, but I didn't care.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Sorry. Right, and that's it. No, did I talk about Shakespeare? Gotta get some Shakespeare in. Arts of language, rhetoric, and puns, and getting turned on by grammar. If that's you, read this.
Sexy grammar.
So sexy.
Right, I have read Kindle Things. I have read The Kite Runner, 10 Years After Everybody Else, by Khaled Hosseini. Now, a billion years ago, I read his other book, A Thousand Splendid Suns, which is just, oh my god, absolutely just astonishing, staggering book that just stuck with me for ages and ages afterwards. And I love The Kite Runner. I can see why it was a bestseller. It didn't really do it for me. I think probably because since the time he wrote it, we've become so desensitised to just the utter horror of the world that it doesn't quite have the same impact. Had I read it 10 or 15 years ago, then yeah, probably it would have absolutely destroyed me. So that's kind of
This is
awful.
an issue at the moment, though, isn't it? Though I'm finding it really hard to get into books or even watch stuff on TV or a film because I'm
too much horror.
This huge wave of apathy and terror. Maybe non-fiction is the answer. Maybe we just need to educate ourselves.
We'll see. Anyway, the other book I'm currently reading is Odds Against Tomorrow by Nathaniel Rich. I'm really, really enjoying it. This is about a guy who basically predicts disasters and makes a shit ton of money out of it. I'm really enjoying it. However, Nathaniel Rich, hi. Can we talk about your representation of women, please?
Yeah.
Let's just have a chat about that.
I read it a while ago and I really enjoyed it, but there's
problematic.
Some tropes going on.
Let's say it's problematic. Anyway, moving on.
Apocalyptic. We can't help it. We can't get away from the apocalypse.
Yeah. So anyway, like totally different themes. Yeah. I've been reading this with my daughter. She loves the film. The film's so great. Good. The book is, to be honest, it's like a poorly rendered version of the film. She loved it. I was like, wow.
She's 5.
She's 5. I still cried at the end. So we read that. We also read My Little Pony, Equestria Girls. She loves My Little Pony. I love My Little Pony. I think it's very subversive and feminist and raw. It is, you have to believe me. It did make me think. There was a news story I kept seeing the other day about Zoella and how she's to blame for basically the downfall of humanity and kids not reading or kids reading shit books or something. And I thought, fuck that shit. She wrote a book that was a bestseller that loads of young people read. There's no good or bad reading. There's just reading. Who cares? If you don't like this, fuck you.
Read what you want.
Read what you want. It doesn't matter. Except for 50 Shades of Grey.
Don't read that.
That's the caveat. Just don't do it.
So on the subject of finding it hard to get into books because of the general awful state of the world, we're doing quick reads that you can just rip through and they're like, oh, I read a book. So if you're into horror or just classic awesome stuff, I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, which is really, really, really good and really scary. It takes a lot for a book to scare me.
Oh no, Raw Blood, Catriona Ward's book. Oh my god, I was like under the duvet cursing her name. I couldn't go to the toilet one night.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on my list. It's on my list. But yeah, this I read like in pretty much 1 or 2 nights, up all night feeding my baby at the time, and I woke him up because my heart rate was going. And yeah, so really good. My Name is Leon by Kit DeWaal, who's an all-round lovely person and excellent writer. And this is just really, really devastating books at the moment. It's about a little boy and his little brother, and they get separated in the foster system, and it's just hard. There is one chapter, I think it's chapter 10, that I had to put it down because I was crying so much. Always a good sign.
Laughing at that. You were crying so much.
Devastation. 2 little really quick reads, retellings of classic myths. There's a whole series of these, but these are the 2 that I have. Penelopeiad by Margaret Atwood and Wait by Jeanette Winterson. So this is the retelling of the Odyssey from Penelope's point of view, which is brilliant because she's kick-ass and everyone else is just a total dick. And this is the retelling of Atlas's story, holding up the Earth sky thing. It's been a while. Yes, and next on my list is Ali Smith, The First Person, and Other Stories, which you just know is going to be amazing because we love Ali Smith. Because we love her. We do. That's it. Short reads. I've got Laurie Moore, Who Will Run the Frog Hospital. Who does? It's just I love Laurie Moore. It just rips your heart out, throws it on the floor, jumps up and down in it, and goes. This is the heartbreak edition of reading the books.
So I highly recommend that, and also her collected short stories. Obviously, short stories are great. It's a very big book, but you can dip in now, and they're just beautiful. I want to be Laurie Moore.
Yeah, I want to be Laurie Moore. Yeah. Let's all be Laurie Moore.
Anyway, so there we go. That is it. Is that it? We're done.
Yeah, and we're under 10 minutes.
Yay, just barely.
So,
right.
Read some books. You should be on 16.
Yes.
But if you're not, it's all right.
I'm not. Okay. All right then.
I'll see you.
Yes, we are.
I'll see you.
Yeah, we are. All right. Bye.